What up? It's your boy, Luke for Prez, back yet again with another video for you guys. Hope everyone is doing great as always. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a Pooh Shiesty type beat with the help of Captain Plugin's Epic. Pooh Shiesty is a rapper that enjoyed a meteoric rise to success based primarily on his song Back in Blood. Since then, he's got a number of major music industry co-signs and continued to release banger after banger until he was unfortunately locked up, and that's where he's at today, behind bars. It is what it is. But his style of music is still very enjoyable and very distinct, and so I figured it would be worth it to make a video going over one of his signature beats. A lot of his beats have very simple but super catchy piano melodies, and so that's what we're gonna be going for today. The melodies are catchy, they're bouncy, they're a little dark and ominous, and then those are typically paired with some classic trap drums, which is my specialty. So yeah, let's get into this beat. All right, so I got Logic pulled up. We are in the key of C sharp minor, which is a great key to use for these kinds of dark piano beats. And we're in the tempo of 158. So the first thing that I started with for this beat is a melody with Captain Melody Epic. Captain Plugins has a really great sound library, and one of my favorite sounds that they have is actually just the default piano sound. It's super realistic, and I actually end up using it for a lot of my compositions. So since Pooh Shiesty's beats typically utilize a lot of pianos, I did not need to look any further than that for this one. The typical workflow with Captain Melody Epic is to have a blank canvas and then just go ahead and click the randomize idea box. You're gonna get a ton of different melody variations that you can then customize as you see fit. But what you can also do is start with that blank canvas and then use the pencil tool to just draw notes in as you see fit. And because we have the key already set in place, wherever you click in a note, it's going to be in the selected key. So that's actually the approach that I took for this particular beat. I started with a blank canvas and then just started clicking stuff in until I found a pattern that I enjoyed. The main thing to remember with these types of melodies is you want something simple, you want something repetitive, and you want something that will get caught in your head. So those are the basic principles that I tried to keep in mind as I composed this particular melody, and the results are this. So we're talking about, 4 notes total. Could not be simpler. But I thought that this was a great starting point, and so I was happy with that and I was ready to move on. I chose a somewhat high octave for that first melody, so I know I wanted to complement it with some additional notes in a lower octave. So I opened up Captain Deep to see if I could create something that's akin to a bass line, but still using a piano sound. So following the same exact format that I used in Captain Melody Epic, I went ahead and created a very simple pattern here that complements that top melody pretty well, in my opinion. This is what it sounds like. And with the top melody together. So now we're getting somewhere. Just a couple simple piano patterns and we're already making great progress. I wanted one more background sound for kind of added ambiance without really getting in the way too much of the bounce of the melodies. So I opened up Arcade and I came to the Overture collection. And using that, I came up with a pretty cool pattern that I thought sounded great with the rest of the beat. And this is what it sounds like. Yeah. I wanted one additional melody in this beat that I could use as a counter melody essentially and bring in and out of certain sections of the beat. So in order to do that, I exported the MIDI of this particular melody here using the export MIDI button, and I dragged the MIDI into my DAW. And then I found a really cool preset in Omnisphere that's kind of like a bell sound. It's called the chime box. This is what it sounds like with no effects on it. But I didn't want it to just repeat the same exact pattern and just overlap with the top melody that I already created in Captain Melody Epic. So the first thing that I did was add an EQ, took out a ton of the low end and some of the highs, as you can see here. So we just got those middle frequencies essentially. And then from there, I added a halftime plugin, which is just a great way to kind of slow down your melody, but oftentimes it ends up sounding entirely different than what the original was. And it ends up just kind of creating an impromptu counter melody out of it. So I kept the default settings basically the same, except I turned up this smooth knob a bit and I left it on the 1 bar repetition. And now this is what it sounds like. And with everything else, so it's just like it's kind of like a droning background vibey kind of thing. You know what I mean? I don't know how to describe it really, other than just kind of setting the mood. That was really the point, right? So that's what it did. I thought it sounded kind of spooky. I thought it sounded perfect with the other 2 piano melodies that I got going. So that's what I went with. Again, Pooh Shiesty's beats are rather simple when it comes to the melody component. So I was happy with that. I thought that was totally enough, especially when you factor in the fact that there will be an artist rapping on this eventually, right? Theoretically. So it will sound complete once you have that final vocal component in the mix. And that means it's time for the drums. So I've gone ahead and created one of my signature trap drum patterns using a lot of very basic elements that come together nicely, in my opinion. We got a clap going. We got a very basic hi-hat pattern that you can see here. Not a lot going on, but that's on purpose. I want each individual hi-hat note to really count. So there's not really any rolls or anything crazy. We got an accent snare pattern. We got an open hat pattern. We got a rim shot pattern. And then of course, the 808 pattern, which just basically follows the root note of the melody and basically follows all the notes of the melody. Like it's pretty much all of the same notes in the melody, with maybe 1 or 2 exceptions, like this low note here. And then also a kick pattern, which just follows the 808s. So altogether, it sounds like this. Sounds great to me. Pretty bouncy, hard, got all the elements necessary, you know? So from there, it's time to arrange this thing. All right, so the arrangement of the beat is complete. I actually didn't really stick to my typical formula of intro, chorus, verse, bridge, chorus, and repeat. I kind of just freestyled this one and just went 8-bar loop by 8-bar loop and just sort of built on top of each other. Whatever in my head felt like it sounded good next, I kind of just went with. The main reason for that approach with this particular beat is just because the melodies are so simple and repetitive. In my head, this is one of those songs that's like a 2-minute tops song, right? Because otherwise it's just gonna get really repetitive and annoying potentially. We don't want that. So that's kind of why I took that approach with this. I also added a drill type bell sound to act as a crash. We got some risers, and that's pretty much it. So with all that said, I'm gonna go ahead and play the completed beat for you guys, and I'm gonna get on out of here. I hope you've enjoyed this quick tutorial on how to make a Pooh Shiesty type beat with the help of Captain Plugins Epic. Don't forget to subscribe to the Mixed and Key YouTube channel. We got more videos on the way. Also, throw it a like if this was helpful. That really is beneficial for the YouTube algorithm. I'm Luke for Prez. That's all I got. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.